Welcome back to Living with a Classic. As the year is ending, I'm finishing off my last project for this year. I booked the transport for this XJC to go to the paint shop, and it's going to happen in the first week of January. So it's pretty much all done. I have a couple of things in the engine bay done, but doors and glass and everything is stripped out of it, and it's pretty much ready to go. I've done something though that I've wanted to do for probably most years I've had the channel. So not the first year, but yeah, 4 years or so, but I haven't had the time to do it. And I wanted to do a look back on the previous year. So a retrospective, I guess we could call it. And what I've done is I picked some of my favorite moments, my favorite videos of the year. I think I ended up with like 25 of them or something. And I've cut my favorite parts of them and put it all together into a big video. This took a long time, but it was really fun because I got to also look back on what I've done this year, and a lot has happened. It started out with me going down to part-time with my regular job, which is interesting because in a couple days I'll have my last shift ever there and I'll go full-time doing this. So I started out with the X Type, welding up and making those sills. That was really interesting. Then we had a couple other things happen. Then I bought the Rover, then I bought Morris, and yeah, lots of things happened. A couple of right-hand to left-hand drive conversions. So sit down, enjoy. This is quite a long film. I think it's about an hour long or so before it's done, but it's just a nice recap of what happened on the channel in 2023. Today is a big day. I'm going to start welding on the X Type here. Done a lot of preparation, and in the last video I made one of the pieces we're going to weld in, and I've made the second one off camera. It's exactly the same and they fit pretty well, so we're going to start cutting out the rust in the car. I've also got my welder out and I've done some practicing, so I'll show you some of the practice welds I've done. I'm actually really proud of them, and then we're going to start welding things in. We'll see how far we get today. Another thing I've also done, which I think is important, is I have thoroughly cleaned the workshop and where I am. I've also put up protection to protect other things I don't want damaged, like I have another car in here and some other things as well. So I have any dust or anything out of the way, and of course I have a big fire extinguisher, and I have some wet rags and the compressed air just to be on top of if anything catches fire, then I can immediately deal with it. I've cleaned up most of this area. I'm going to hit it with a flap disc as well. That was just in like a thick abrasive disc. Found a hole there and a small one there. That small one there I can just fill with some weld. It's pretty good around there. But this one I need to do something about. Technically the new piece is going to completely cover it. However, I want to cut some of this back and just made a small little repair panel. I think that's the way it fits. It's going to fit right there. This will be a good way for me also to practice welding the thicker stuff to this thinner stuff here. So I am going to cut out this rod here and put this panel in. I'll actually be doing this a little bit off camera just so I can concentrate a little bit more. But don't worry, when we put in the big panel, I'm going to be filming that. So I will cut this out, put some weld-free primer on here, on this side as well. Put this in here, and that will be nice and solid. And then we will grind this down as flat as possible so we can lay the other piece on top of that later. That's not bad. That is definitely going through the outer metal and into the old stuff. So continue up here, and it should be pretty strong. I checked the angle here with the other one. It's perfect, and you see we're pretty much exactly where the old one was. And 3 spot welds there, so I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in this area. I'll add an 8th one there, and I think it should be really strong. The metal behind here is still very, very strong and thick, so I can really just lay in the weld here, sort of pull it up in a circular motion and just fill it up. I'll show you guys. It's actually rather a lot easier than the other stuff, and it should be really nice and strong. I think we'll find that this is very, very solid. That's not going anywhere. So there's some nice solid metal in there. Now I'm going to grind the top a bit so we can see what that looks like, and then we can finish welding up there as well. It's a while later and I've made some progress. Fully dark outside, so I have some extra lights on here so we can see. But I finished welding that piece in as well. And I got a little thing to do over there, which I'll show you guys. And then I need to cut this piece out, which is rotten. This is good. And then make the bottom piece here and connect it all together there. But that will be another day. But very happy with it so far. It's all in primer just so it doesn't flash rust, because I have to have the door open when welding, and you know, it rains pretty much every day. But really, really happy with it. It is a couple hours after the previous video. If you haven't seen that one, there's a link in the playlist down below. It was on this car. It's 1999 S-Type V8, and I swapped the engine on it. And it was the second time we started up, first time with a coolant system. And we ran it for a bit and actually drove it out of the shop, which was really cool. However, we noticed a weird sound. Let's see, this first, second, that was a smooth shift. 40 kilometers an hour, we're in third. So that's pretty good. It's almost a year ago that I got this thing running for the first time in about 20 years. And when it finally roared into life, it wasn't all 12. We did some other things. Now it runs on all 12 and actually runs pretty well. However, it sat for so long that there's quite a bit that needs to be done to any car that's been sitting for a long time, especially a V12 car, if you want to make it a reliable daily driver. The owner of this car, my good friend Dan, who is the welder and painter we've been to a couple times, my XJS is there at the moment, he wants this as a summer daily. So we're doing a couple things to it. In this first series, we're doing everything a car like this needs mechanically to be a daily driver. So we're doing what I call my major service, which is every coolant hose, flush the coolant system, every fuel line, go through the injectors, go through if we have any leaks, fix that, give it a new water pump, all new belts, and go through and tune it. So we're going to do all of that. When that is done, we're going even a little bit further, because this car's right-hand drive at the moment. But where I live, you want a left-hand drive car. So I've picked everything that you need from a rusted out parts car to make this thing left-hand drive. So we're going to convert it as well, and that will be a separate series and quite a big job, because, well, when I removed it from the parts car, that went pretty well. But I can't use the same technique putting it back in, because that was just basically sauce and other things, just quickly getting everything out of there. But we gotta be a little bit more careful when putting this back together. Let me show you guys the immediate plan. Lots of things that we're doing to this engine I have already done on the channel, so there will be some time lapse of things. And if you want to see more detailed things like that, I've done pretty much all of this before. But I'll show you guys some tips along the way and some tricks, and hopefully, at least in the first video, we're going to strip everything down to the cam covers, try and get to that. And then the video after that, we'll probably go through the coolant system and do that, and then we'll build up the fuel system and then fire this thing back up again. as the other one, and this side is much cleaner. And there we go. That is everything taken down to the cam covers. So this is what is involved if you want to replace cam cover gaskets. These have been leaking, as you can see, and that's of course why we're doing it. It's not terrible yet, but a car has been standing for this long and everything is just going to be dry. Once you start driving it, it's going to leak a lot more. And you know, intake gaskets, a lot of other things are going to start leaking. It's just why we're doing all of this now. We're continuing with this V12 XJS that you had a different series on, where we've done everything on the engine to make this a reliable daily driver. So we're halfway done with that. However, we're going to start with one of the most ambitious things I've done to an XJS probably in a long time. We're going to convert this right-hand drive one to left-hand drive, which theoretically it shouldn't be too bad because they were prepared from the factory to be both right and left-hand drive. So I picked every single part I think I'll need from a parts car that was being scrapped due to rust. I have all that laid out over there. We're going to have a look at that, and it should be pretty straightforward. I mean, remove all of this, take out the wiring harness, put in the other wiring harness, connect it all back up with a different dash. I mean, how hard can it be? Step one is really remove the radio and all that, remove the steering wheel, get the dash out, and when that is out, center console pretty much the same time. The wiring is underneath the center console and goes up on the sides, and down here there's a bunch of relays down in the A-posts. Remove those, and yeah, get the whole wiring harness out and get this one in. I'm going to see if it's possible just to flip this one over, because the other wiring harness is from a more newer car with more options. So we'll have to maybe cut things out of that. It would be easier to use this one, or just flip it, or use the other one. That will remain to be seen. With the steering wheel removed, you can get to the binnacle. It's quite simple. You see these little plugs here? They should just lift out. Be careful, everything is quite fragile plastic. You see one screw there. One screw there. One screw there. One screw there. And the whole thing. And yeah, one screw up there as well. And this whole thing lifts out. Is it stuck on something over here? Oh, it's just stuck on there. There we go, and we have a little bit of wiring right here. Yeah, there we go. We have a little bit, there's some extra wiring over here for an immobilizer, an alarm system that we're going to remove. And here we have some electrics for some interior lighting. And that is one dash removed. Now this looks like a real mess when the dash is removed, but it's not too bad. The main harness goes, see, all the way up here, and goes behind here, and then down into both A posts where there's some relays on both sides. and then it also travels back here and goes a little bit over here. So it isn't actually as bad to get out, and then there's both fuse boxes involved. So not as bad, but we're going to do that in the next video. Arrive at the barn here, full of a lot of interesting British stuff. But what I'm looking at is over there in the corner. Can you guys see what it is? Yes, it's a Rover P6 V8. First time it sees the light of day in 6 years. A few days later, and the Rover is home. It arrived late last night on a tow truck, but then it was snowing and dark, so I thought better to film now today in the sunlight. We have all this barn dust on it. I'm gonna wait for it to get a little bit warmer, and then I'm gonna clean it off, but that will be in the next episode. It's gonna be interesting to see it without this dust. Maybe I should save some of it. Sell it on eBay as original barn find dust. Adds value to any old car. Oh, it's really nice and red under here. Look at that. I think there may be a really good paint job underneath all this dirt. Now, would you look at that? Definitely not perfect. It does need to be, completely polished and detailed. It's not perfectly clean either. It's too cold, but it's a lot better. It needs 1 or 2 more washes just to get everything off, but this was just a really, really quick one. You see, I missed a corner right there, but this paint is good. Let's see if we can build some oil pressure. It's the oil light there, and the pressure gauge is down on the left. That went out. And it's building pressure. Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and the third part in this new to me 1972 Rover P6 V8. It has that really classic 3.5 liter Rover all aluminum V8. And I haven't heard it run yet, so hopefully in today's video that's going to happen. Most of them look like this, except cylinder 5, which was a little bit wet. A little bit oil deposit there, I think. Let's see, have a look at the other ones. But overall, they've all been firing. They've all been firing evenly. The mixture and everything looks good. This engine has been running well. You see a little bit of mouse droppings and stuff in there, so clean that up, but we don't need the air filter on there to start it up. It's actually better to have it off in case it backfires or something. So we'll put this aside. I'll get the vacuum cleaner, and then we can clean off all of the mouse poo on the intake. Electric fuel pump ticking away. Everything seems fine. I believe that this is some sort of overflow, and I think it goes there to the back behind the engine. No excessive wetness in there or anything. Gonna see if we have anything on the ground. No, nothing there on the ground. I think next step is to see if this thing fires up. No way. We have a V8. A little bit of smoke out the back. But look at that little baby purr. We have lots of oil pressure. We're charging. This is awesome. Just turn down the choke a tiny bit. But we are definitely running. Look who's in the car.
Hello. This is an unexpected treat.
Yeah, so what happened?
We were driving from Copenhagen towards Gothenburg, and yeah, we left the petrol station close to Copenhagen Airport, and as I went to go put the car in reverse, the pedal felt very light, and I've struggled to get reverse, put onto the motorway, and I've been struggling to get gears, and the pedal's been feeling lighter and lighter. And
couldn't get to first.
Couldn't get first.
We went through customs.
Yeah,
in Sweden.
Had to pull away from customs in second. That was awkward. And then so we phoned Adam and said, "Are you home? Can we maybe come and see you?" Think we'd limp it to here. As we came off the motorway, I knocked it out of fifth gear and couldn't get any gears at all. We'd lost all gears completely, so we coasted to as far as we could down the slip road.
Yeah, and then we towed it, but at least we were like 7 kilometers.
Yeah, we got very close, thankfully. Yeah.
So, and thank you, Adam.
Yes, thank you, Adam.
No, this is just fun. We've talked about meeting up for forever.
Yeah, yeah. And then when we realised we were going so close on our route here, we thought we'd come and say hello. Yeah. Just not quite in these circumstances.
No, it doesn't have any of the US ones.
I've never seen those fog lights before. I'm guessing someone added them.
Some of that, I think it should have square 8s. I'm going to fit those. But it's up front.
It's not got the top so it's broken off.
Yeah, no, they don't have those.
In Sweden you don't have them?
No, they were illegal.
Oh.
Because you could harm a pedestrian.
Really?
So they're smoothed out. So they're smoothed out on both sides from the factory.
I saw that was broken off, and I assumed someone had just broken them off. Because
no.
I've had people sit on mine and snap them off. Well, it doesn't look any wetter than it did before. So.
No, I think you're fine.
Perfect.
And the fluid level looks...
hasn't moved, really, has it?
Same as it was then, yeah.
That's really good. So I think we'll call it fixed.
Thank you very much.
If you remember a couple weeks ago, I picked up my latest project, my 1972 Rover P6 V8, and that was going to be part of my Trading Up series. I got a Renault Clio for free, I fixed that up, and with the profit, I bought the Rover. However, I fell in love with the Rover, and it's staying like a true car collector. However, I needed something else because I wanted to continue the series. The whole point of the Trading Up series was to start with no money, trade up to something interesting, and along the way, have interesting cars come and go on the channel. That doesn't work if you keep the cars. So this was sitting next to the Rover, and I gave the guy an offer, and he accepted. Give this a shot. Choke out. It lived. A little bit of smoke out the back, but let's try it again. It's really that I couldn't hold the choke out. Let's connect up the pump, even though it's super noisy, and we'll just run it for a little bit. See if it starts up and runs a little bit longer. I think we're low on fuel as well. I think to go pick some up and do something about this pump situation. But let's turn off the ignition, connect up the pump, try everything again, and this time hold the choke out a little bit more. It definitely needs a new choke cable or a little clothespin. Let's try it again. I put some... Yes!
13.2. So we're charging, and I think we're coming up the temperature. But run a little bit longer. I want to see if the thermostat opens up. That is still really cold. We'll wait for that, and then we'll give it a big wash. Thermostat is opened up, so temperature gauge is working, and it's running very, very sweetly. I'm going to turn it off and put on the air cleaner just so we don't get any water into the engine when we clean it off. But let's actually see if it wants to fire up. Just oh, it's a sweet little engine. So, what do you think it is?
I think it's a car. Some kind of car.
Could be a moped.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you driving the Range Rover. It's just the same sort of fuel.
I know.
I gotta save up some for my V12s and things.
But it looks like an old key. Anyways.
Corvettes are old, the ones you like.
Yeah. How old?
This is from the 70s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have to see then. Can I open?
Yeah. Yeah, you can open your eyes. That's fine.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cute!
It is cute.
It's so little.
It's basically like a mini, but a little bit bigger. And you told me once years ago that I'm not allowed to buy a mini, but does this count?
Yeah, it's so cute. I love it.
So, want to go for a ride?
It drives?
It does drive. It's not legal, but you want to go for a ride?
Roads, I mean,
Yeah. I told you, Mark. You want to go for a ride?
Yeah.
Alright, so they're checking for movement right now. Go through. It's really, really interesting. Let's see. Pretty good when it comes to leaks. Just the drain there. I didn't have any crush washers, that's probably it. Let's see what the rear is like. So I hope you guys could see there. I filmed a little bit, I asked, but I still want to be polite, let him do his job. It's my favorite place to go and inspect cars. They're so great here, and he always picks my cars when he comes in. I think he sort of, when he sees a weird British car, he knows it's me. And he really liked this thing. He thought it was so cool. Just going around looking at all the weird engineering that's in the P6. I mean, we probably took 2 slots, but we just had a lot of fun. However, I need to come back. It's not really that bad. The brakes in the rear are a little bit uneven. The left side's not doing as much as the right, but it's very, very close. So we had a look at it, and I honestly think, and he agrees, I just need to drive this thing a bit and everything will probably come loose, because, you know, fluid's new and everything, and we can see both sides moving and everything. Is just, we just need, I think it just needs to be driven a bit more, but otherwise everything else is great. So I need to fix it within 30 days. And then if I come back then and it passes, then this thing is inspection or MOT exempt. So it's been years in the making. It is a 1999 S-Type V8 with a 4-liter V8 that a family member has. Bought it with a bad engine, and I've been swapping out the engine in my spare time. It's been an extreme project. It's been quite difficult. Everything that I've touched has broken or snapped or things. It's been quite irritating, but now it's all together. It seems to be working. I'm going to give you guys a quick tour around what it looks like now. Then we're going to drive off to the inspection center. I'll talk about what I'm worried about on the way there. Hopefully it passes. And then, just because it's my birthday, what I've done is the owner of the car, I've invited them over just this afternoon, or about an hour and a half or so, just for some coffee and some cake, and just say like a birthday celebration. But he has no idea that his car will be here, that will be finished and is hopefully inspected, or at least be able to drive on the road. So it's going to be really fun to surprise him with the car.
Det har du?
Ja. Eller det är något lite småfix, lite som asen och lite sånt, men den är godkänd utan anmärkning.
Jaha, avgasprov och sånt också?
Ja.
Det var det jävligaste.
Vi kan ta en sväng. Jag kan
Då kommer svärdomarna med.
jag backar ut den, så kan vi ta en sväng sen.
Ja, det kan vi göra.
Men håller du i hunden?
Jag håller i hunden.
Vi har fixat all el, till och med backspeglarna, fälls in och allting.
So he was really surprised. He had no idea. He knew I was test driving the car, but he had no idea it was completely finished. So that was really fun. We went for a pretty long test drive, and he thoroughly enjoyed it. There are a couple small things I need to still finish up. I'm going to re-bleed the power steering one more time, because there's sometimes a little bit of air in it. You need to vacuum bleed these, and it's quite a pain. Once that is done, it's just fill up the AC, and that's pretty much it. We're on our way to the first car show here in my 1972 Rover P6. It's about an hour away or so, and it's supposed to be a pretty big show with lots of different cars. I'm going there as an invitation from the Swedish Rover Club. First time I'm meeting some people there. Actually, I know one person in the club, and he's the one who invited me. So that's going to be fun. He has a really lovely, two really lovely Rovers. I think they're from the 40s or 50s. No, one's from the 30s actually. I'm not really good with those models. Anyways, it's going to be the first car show for this car, and it's also going to be the first car show for my youngest. I have my son with me in the back. The sun's come out now. We've been here for about an hour or so, and a little bit longer probably. Walked around once and met some people, met actually some subscribers, which have never really happened. So that was really cool. They recognized the Rover and came up and talked to me and showed me their car. So that was really fun. So now I'm going to do a walk around a little bit with the sun's out and show you what's here. It's a lot of cars. It could be maybe 150, 200, even more. It's a lot. So in this area up here, it's all organized by makes, and then it's a little bit more random over there. So we can start to have a look at some MGs over here, and then we'll walk down, and there's the Rovers, there's Jags, and then some Volvos and other things, and then we have some other cars over there. So let's walk around and have a little bit of a look. And here is the Daimler Coupe that has been turned from right-hand drive to left-hand drive and put back on the road after a few years off the road. And we're getting really close. It's the mad dash to finish it. Like I said with this series, I'm not filming everything because a lot of this is done before, but still following along. So I think the last time you saw the car, I just gotten the dash in. Since then, a lot has been done, and I'm actually getting ready to lower it down on the ground because everything underneath is done. And then it's just time to get some things done in the engine bay, and hopefully maybe even later today we can get this thing to fire up, because in a couple days it needs to show up for its inspection to get, you know, like an MOT. And then the day after that, it needs to go to the summer meet, where it's going to be as a bit of an exhibit and possibly drive around if everything goes well. I've removed all of that. That was just a bunch of really bad stereo wiring everywhere. And it was just really, really not well done, not safe. So we'll remove that for now. And when the owner wants to put in a stereo, I'll help him out with that. So yeah, that tidied everything up pretty neatly. And let me show you the light, the loom laying over there. Yeah, let me go around. Let's see if it fires up. And if it does, it's charging. That's next, because I don't have a charging light, but don't really know what's going on, because that's the old pressure light. Great. Fire it up. And fuel gauge is working now, going up to max, so that's good. It does need, you can hear the exhaust knocking a tiny bit, and there's a, that is because someone has made their own rear valance at some point, or valence, whatever you want to say, and the holes for the exhaust are a little bit too small. So that's something he's going to sort out, either replace the whole thing or just, you know, make the holes the size they're supposed to be. So now it's all set. Sitting on Kent wheels, it looks great. The owner, he says he's going to send these off and have them painted. He bought them this color and have them more, you know, silvery. But some new tires on it. Sitting well, it's done the alignment. And the interior is all back together, except one trim panel like I told you guys about. But here we have it. Carpets are in and everything. Dash is in, dash top, underneath, everything. I still have that little switch there. I just need to check how it's supposed to be wired in for the locks to do. But other than that, it's all in, working nicely. Let us get under here, and I'll show you guys the freshly painted cam covers and all of that. It has manual choke, so I put the choke knob right there. Works really well. Nice Daimler grill on it. We're gonna replace this, help him out at some point. New steel in there and put the chrome on. But otherwise, here it is. He's gonna put the Daimler sticker on and a couple of those original stickers he has. But otherwise, it's all back together, running nicely. Now it has a stake down kit, and the timing chain is correctly adjusted, so it's nice and quiet and working well. I think some of you guys are saying, finally an XJ40 on the channel again. I used to have one, sold it close to a year ago now. There was one just like this, or very similar to this. This is a Daimler XJ40. I think this is an 89 or 90. Still has the digital dash. Mine did not, so I do like these more. It's not mine. Let's see what happens. Okay, judging by the amount of water that just shot up there and the smoke, I think we have a head gasket leak. It's starting to change. It's turning yellow. Oh yeah, so where's the first? I put a wrench on the front of the engine, and I have lined it up with like 0, like number 1 cylinder top dead center. This is the marking for number 1 cylinder top dead center. That's where we are. So that is 1, 2 rods in between. That means that the distributor is 60 degrees out. It went bang, then it backfired and it stopped. Lots of troubleshooting in the last video. Sort of felt like I didn't have spark. I think I did. I think it was just a weak battery and it was just weak and I couldn't see it. But verified, we have spark, the distributor is turning, and we verified that it is 60 degrees out, distributor, which is quite a lot. So I think, or I hope, that something has happened with the cog at the bottom of the distributor and that it has, there's a pin that holds it. I hope that pin has sheared and the cog has turned a bit and then seized into place. And that is what happened, and I hope it's not something else. We're back in place, but now because, you know, the engine is set atop dead center and set up here at cylinder 1, I could mount the trigger wheel and everything while the distributor's on the bench, because then the cutouts here match perfectly with the Allen screws. So it's in place, it went in really nicely. I mean, it was in really nicely before as well. It's all back together now, and honestly, I'm quite nervous. Either it's going to fire up and be just fine, or we're going to have catastrophic engine failure. All right, let's see what happens. Timing is just, you know, set roughly. So if it does run, it might not run the best. I really, really hope it does run though. All right, that fired right up. Well, we're completely on the red, so that's normal. Oh, it's the next morning. I think I may have bricked it. Long weekend of meetings and dinners. Finally Sunday. I'm at my friend's Daniel's house. You might recognize all the cars here. We'll have a look around in a bit. Over there, I see a green P38. Let's go have a look at it. On a windy fall day, here it is. About 7:25 in the morning here, driven for about 15-20 minutes. I have 20 minutes to go to my first stop, which is a parts store. Just gonna pick up the smooth fall things. I need a charge cable for my phone. I need a just get to have some coolant with me. We check the levels and everything now in the morning. It's all fine. Nice thing is the electrically heated front windscreen works, so that was really nice. And then hopefully we just get to move along. I checked right now, we have 493 kilometers to my house. So that's probably about 450 of those on the highway. And then after that, it's small roads. But I'll update you guys in a little bit when we get more of a move on. Turned off the highway about 10 minutes ago and I'm on the small roads here pretty close to my house. Sorry about the glare from the sunroof, but the panel here to cover it it's a little stuck and I don't want to. We'll just leave that there. I'm going to connect up the battery, then we're going to prime the fuel system just a few times, check for leaks. Hopefully there are none. Got a big fire extinguisher over there, and just crank it up. If it does start, just run it for a little bit. I mean 10 seconds or so, just make sure that it runs, and then you know, we gotta get brakes and everything else working on it and finish up the interior. But it'd be a great milestone if this thing actually fires up for the first time with the steering wheel on the left side. I primed the fuel system a couple times, checked for leaks. Seems fine. As you notice, the lights are on all the time. Don't really know why. That's something we're gonna have to figure out later. But I think we just need to hit the key and see what happens. Oh, we can't just end the video there. I fired it up one more time and it runs beautifully. Alright, I'm gonna shut it down. I've opened up the garage door.
get some fans going. Let's air this out. Can't tell, I'm out driving the right hand to left hand drive XJS. And guess what? It's back on the road for the first time in 22 years. This car sat for a really long time, and now it's up and running, driving on its own power. I've just almost done 70 kilometers in it. Just some test drives and to the MOT station or inspection. And yeah, there are a couple small things. It has one of the headlights, some aiming things, or has a weird image, but I think he wants to swap headlights anyways. But otherwise, it's a good car. There's a slight little knock up front from the shock mounts. I do have some new ones for him. And then the fuel pump started making a little bit of noise. It is a new one, but not really sure what could be going on there. Maybe there is more dirt in the tank. He flushed out the tank and did all that, but maybe there's a little bit more. Here it is out in the rain and storm, all ready to go. We gotta get these chrome pieces on, but he's gonna check that light and things. And we walked around it. He seems really happy with it. We're about to go for a little test drive. So it's been sitting for over 20 years. We changed the position of the steering wheel from right hand to left hand drive. All the original wood is back in it, and everything is carpets and everything as it should. Under here, a lot has been done, as you know. All new belts. Let me see. It's always difficult to do it. That's why you're filming as well. All new belts, hoses, water pump, gone through the injectors, fuel hoses, ignition parts, you name it, and it runs really sweetly. And it's just going to run better and better from being used. Move the brake servo over to this side and the master cylinder, all of that. So a lot has been done. But now I'm going to let my friend Dan go for a drive and we'll come along. First time he experiences his V12 XJS. Does it feel good?
Feeling very good.
Yeah.
The professor has made it again.
It's free now. I did push the pistons out once with the brake pedal and pushed them in again, and it went in very nice and smoothly. So that should be no issues at all. And I gave everything just a good grease around here. So ready to get this thing on the ground in the front and put on my studded winter tires. And then the rear, I'm just gonna have a quick look over. I think the brakes are probably fine, but just a quick look over when I put the rear, swap out the rear tires, fill it up with some fresh oil, put that filter back on, and we're really close to driving out of the workshop again. All right, so next day, I have some good news. The car's ready to actually head outside. Winter tires are on. Had a look at the rear brakes. They were all really good. And now I remember that about 10,000 kilometers ago, I put in new rear pads. So really good. And the other good news is I have heat again. This is what I had to replace. They were unable to get a service guy out to me. But I told them that, well, how hard can it be? So they sent me a service manual, and I signed a thing where if I follow the manual, it's not going to void the warranty and things. And they sent me the parts. I replaced these two circuit boards. Now it works. Nice and warm in here. So that's, or it's starting to get, last night it was about 15 degrees below freezing outside. Now it's maybe about 8 below freezing. So it takes a while to warm up this place, but we're getting there. It's twice as warm as it was yesterday, so that's really good. Other than that, we have fresh oil in it. We can cross things off the list. Oil change. That is done. Swap tires. Yes. Look over brakes. I've done that. And fuel system flush. Forgot to say I did replace the filter in the back as well when I did that. So it has a fresh fuel filter, fresh fuel, some additives and things. I've checked the coolant, replaced some hose clamps, done a lot of small things, and greased everything all around. So she should be ready to go outside. And if we're lucky, the sun comes out every now and then, so we'll go have a nice drive in the sun, hopefully. let's go into low range. Should beep. And we'll go into regular low range drive. Let's see how this goes. And we are off-roading. Oh, this is fun. This will be a great test too if I fix that earth issue, because whenever I hit a pothole before, all my instruments would basically turn off and the gearbox fault would come on. So let's see if that is fixed. So this one is sort of steep, and then the one after that one is really steep. Like a champ. Okay, let's try the other one. And going down will be sort of challenged, but we'll use that sort of hill descent thing. First gear, low range. All right, let's see if we make it up here. Oh, it's slippery. And yeah, we made it up the hill. Let's turn around up here and we'll go down the right part here, which is not as steep. Okay, we have it in low gear first, and we'll try going down here. It's really cool to feel sort of the engine just doing all the braking for you. Works really well. This is really fun. I think I can actually build some confidence with this. Like I said, I want to take it on a couple of off-road excursions with the Land Rover Club. Just try some things, especially when you're among other enthusiasts who have defenders and things. They can pull you out if you get stuck. But I think this thing is probably really, really capable. We just tried to see if we can break this thing loose and slide about in snow a bit, and you can't. That was a lot of fun. My youngest really wants to go for a ride, so take him for a little bit of a drive out here so he can get a feel for everything. Yeah, it seems to be going surprisingly well. So I think I'm going to continue raising it up. There we go. Back on the ground, plenty of room. We can lower it down a little bit and then pull it out. For a bit. It was catching though. Into a 20 liter or 25 liter jerry can here. We should get most of it out of here. And then we could either run this to a recycling center or I'll mix it like 10 to 20% with fresh fuel and run it in a lawnmower maybe. Got 10 liters of fresh stuff added and got the pump running now. Should be able to hear how it's circulating through. So we'll do this about now 30-40 seconds and we should have nice fresh fuel up here. Oh,
we're so close now. Here, these things are usually not that bad from sitting. These V12s, I don't know why, but they usually do pretty well. You can see on my breath how cold it is. I think it's once again 5 degrees below freezing. Oh, it does help if you connect up the battery first. I think step one in the restoration of this thing is finding that buzzer and get rid of it. Good. I absolutely hate it. Hey, that works today. That didn't work yesterday. See, it's fixing itself. Let's prime the rail a couple times. And for some reason, the AC fan went on max. Here we go. Did you hear that? It's wanting to go. See? It definitely has a modified exhaust. Managed to get a hold of this 1975 XJ12 Coupe, which is my dream car. It is, I've loved them. I just always loved them. I thought they were the most beautiful thing that Jaguar ever made, and just a fantastic car. It has a dark blue interior, which is in really nice shape. Headliner is not sagging or anything. Dashboard has a couple small cracks, but nothing. There's a tiny bit of mold in it, so I do want to go and clean everything out. But it's just been sitting here airing out, and nothing has gotten worse from how it's been sitting. So this is as it was parked in 1988 or 1989. So yeah, it is a mighty 5.3 V12 with the 4 Stromberg carbs. And you know that this is my favorite V12 engine. The early pre-HEs, and especially on carbs, I absolutely love it. And one of the reasons I wanted one of the early ones on carbs is because that's what it's like in that brochure. And also, I do have 2 pre-HEs injected already, an XJS and an XJ12. Might as well have something that's a little bit different. And back to the present. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed that. And let me know in the comments down below if you want me to do this next year. It was quite a big job cutting through all of that footage, but I enjoyed it just because it was a nice way for me to wrap up the year, and I hope it gave you guys something fun to watch now during the holidays. Anyways, I will see you guys for a couple more videos of this year, and then I'll see you guys in 2024 when we have some big projects lined up. Anyways, until next time, I'm out. This is Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.